Hello everyone and welcome to this third place playoff of the EGL League of Legends Championship Summoners Cup number 14. It's between Bananas in Tuxedos and Infected Gaming. I am Sona, my co-caster today, and for only these best of 3 games, usually we cast a few more, but for all of today is Grey Goose.
Hi everyone, excited for the games? I really can't wait. I'm sitting here jumping up and down, really excited for the upcoming matches. Both of these teams already doing pretty well. I mean, they made it all the way to 3rd place. It's pretty nice.
It is pretty nice. I mean, both of the teams have been talking a little bit about how they're a bit disappointed in not getting further than this. I mean, Bananas and Tuxedos did come first 2 weeks ago. It was the last time they entered the tournament, so they managed to come first there and haven't quite been able to live up to that this time, but really exciting game coming up, especially since it's best of 3 as well. It is for 1,600 RP for the 3rd place team and 800 RP for the 4th place team, so quite a bit of RP up for grabs here.
Indeed, and we are now into Champion Select. The first ban already coming through, Vayne being taken out of the equation, so nobody wants to deal with that late game AD carry. Just take that out right away. By the way, I'm a little bit sick, so if my voice doesn't sound quite as silky smooth as normally, don't be surprised. I'll live, and I'm doing my best for you.
Mate, I still find your voice to be one of the sexiest things on the Rift, notwithstanding Ari and Annie as well. Obviously, we just see Vayne, Nami, and Jarvan the 4th being banned out here. And Vayne is one of the sort of semi-must-ban AD carries at the moment. If she gets to late game, she can destroy your team with that extra damage that she's going to be having coming out. And we do see a couple more bans coming out here.
Indeed. Vi, such a powerful jungler. Jarvan, also a very present jungler. And then Orianna, finally. Already a couple of the, mid-game threats with the high-pressure junglers have been taken out. And then they pick out Orianna, who is sort of one of the most AoE-heavy and very utility-heavy mid laners. They do not want to deal with that. They don't want that shockwave to be available for the enemy team, so they take it out right away. Maybe they have some sort of game plan. Jarvan and Orianna, both very teamfight-centric and very good at really making an AoE teamfight work for them, and they pick up Nasus first. And I'm kind of surprised they banned out Vayne, as Nasus is really powerful against a Vayne, but I guess they still did not want to deal with it, as we may see Shyvana picked up on the enemy side here.
Yeah, a few of the really common picks getting chosen here. Shyvana very strong at the moment with that burnout, with her Dragon Breath as well, the Flame Breath, doing a lot of damage. Really, if someone gets on top of you as Shyvana, you're not going to get away from them. So, a good pick up there, looking to come out from Wolfish EU. Doubt he'll be playing it, as he is the mid laner, but we'll probably see someone pick that up for his team. And then Nasus as well. Nasus is a very strong pick these days. Jungle Nasus is good, as is that top lane Nasus. Getting your siphoning strikes out, you're going to be doing a huge amount of damage when it comes to mid or to late game. I'm a bit surprised by the Nocturne ban coming out here from Bananas in Tuxedos. Do they know something I don't?
Maybe. I personally, sadly, wasn't able to watch too many of Infected Gaming's games yesterday, but Nocturne, he can be pretty scary. He has a lot of global pressure, can easily appear in different lanes all over the place, and if they don't want to deal with that, then I guess it's a reasonable ban. But really, I think there could have been other respect bans possibly for them that they could have chosen in this matchup. But I'm really surprised at Sona. Hey. Sona, a very pokey but very squishy support. In this pre-season 4 right now, generally the tanky supports have been the ones heavily favored, as we see on the opposite side. Leona, really tanky support, really powerful right now, and instead they go for that squishy Sona, who still is very strong, don't get me wrong, especially with a crescendo in a team fight. Really powerful, but I don't know, it's very dangerous for her going up against a Leona Jinx. That's a huge amount of kill potential.
Yeah, a lot of bursts coming out from her lane opponents there. If you can land the Zenith Blade onto that Sona, she's probably going to die each time, especially with that extra CC coming out from Jinx with her Flame Chompers gobbling you up from underneath. So, Sona Ezreal lane is really interesting, because Ezreal's got that high mobility and is going to be able to escape the Jinx and Leona, whereas the Sona is really going to be that target. If they go for the Ezreal, they're not playing that lane properly.
I agree. Then again, I guess there's so much poke coming out from Sona and Ezreal, and if they manage to poke down Leona to the point where she's scared to engage, then they can actually get out ahead in that lane simply due to superior pressure. Now, overall, I really like the picks out of Bananas and Tuxedos compared, onto the Jinx though. Because they have a Shyvana, they have a Rumble, and they have an Ezreal. Combined with poke out of Sona, they can get on top of that Jinx, and Jinx is really weak at escaping. She only has the Flame Chompers and the Zap trying to get away, and then the Flash. But really, if she has people sitting on top of her face, which is what Shyvana's so good at, then she has nowhere to go. And we may see... There's no way they're picking Heimerdinger. They're at least making much more sense here. And Zyra picked up as the last champion.
Yeah, a mid lane Zyra, probably. I don't want to say that with utter confidence, because you never know in season 4, the pre-season, not quite season 4 yet. However, Zyra really strong in the mid lane. Deadly Bloom does a lot of damage, and if you can get a couple of plants up, get those Thorn Spitters spitting out towards your opposing laner, they do a huge amount of damage. People underestimate the amount of damage you can do, especially if you get a Haunting Guise or even a Liandry's doing that current health burn over time as well. Gragas is an interesting pick against this sort of a lane.
I agree. And generally for the overall team fight, the way it's looking is that Infected Gaming would want to get in there and really pick off the high priority targets, aka the mid laner, Rumble, and Ezreal. The Gragas ultimate would have done a huge amount of work to split everything up, and I really like the Fizz pick though. That could be really powerful for them. I love this.
One other pickup that's got through, actually, that I'm really surprised has got all the way through this is Kassadin. Kassadin, the scourge of lower elos, hasn't been picked up at all here, and we've seen the skill and the ability of Kassadin at this sort of level with Xpeke. We hear about Xpeke, doing an Xpeke. Kassadin is incredibly strong. I do agree the Fizz pickup is great against this lane because you can dodge the Strangle Roots and you can dodge the Grasping Roots, Strangle Thorns and the Grasping Roots out from Zyra, but I'm amazed that we didn't have a Kassadin picked up in this game.
That's true. I guess neither one of these teams even paying attention to that. He's banned out so commonly, and sometimes when a champion is basically permabanned, people don't pay attention to him anymore, and then they forget him. Even though they could have picked him up, they have another strategy that they prepared, expecting the Kassadin ban, and then just go with that prepared strategy. So we are going to see the teams as is, and we're going to have Elise in the jungle, and Zyra is going to be in the mid lane. So I'm really interested to see Zyra matching up against Fizz. And Fizz is going to be such a nice assassin, especially towards the late game. If he lands his Chum the Waters onto Jinx, Jinx is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Jinx to get away, even if she's got that Get Excited passive on her as well. She's going to be slowed by the Chum the Waters. Fizz can jump a huge distance with his Seastone Trident, his Urchin Strike, and his ability to use that Playful Trickster to get away from crowd control and to get into the backline of a team. Shyvana as well, very strong, using that Dragon's Descent, going to be able to jump onto your backline, onto the Zyra, onto the Jinx, even onto Elise to some degree. I mean, Elise will probably build relatively tanky throughout this with a little bit of AP, but she's still going to be in an awful position if they manage to get an Equalizer and a Shyvana ult coming onto their faces.
That's very true, and actually that's something I didn't realize or consciously realize until just now. Shyvana's not actually in the top lane. I was so set on her being up there, going up against Nasus. Instead, it's Rumble, of course, going top. Shyvana in the jungle, and generally, lately, we've seen a lot of Shyvana top lane players, but in this case, she's actually jungling. And Shyvana jungle is something I personally don't like that much, because you're not getting that much gold early on. And, her early game ganks are pretty weak. She doesn't really have any inherent CC. She doesn't have her ultimate until level 6, and even then, for the ultimate to really be effective to knock them back into your allies, you have to be level 6 and then have to move all the way behind the enemies, which is okay with her burnout because it makes her move that much faster, but generally, her ganks will not be as strong. Now, I'll be really interested to see if they can still make it work, if they can still pick up early kills with that Shyvana, snowball the game in their favor, and they're gonna need jungler pressure, especially in that bot lane.
They really, really are. That bot lane is so not in their favour. The odds are not in their favour in that bot lane, because Ezreal and Sona, very good sustain lane, and if they can get the poke down, they are going to be able to sort of out-damage their opponents. But Zap, with that huge attack damage scaling on that, is going to allow them just to get some counter poke out as well. Leona will be jumping into the back line. That's going to be a huge amount of crowd control. And if Ezreal and Sona don't play that right, they're just going to get melted straight away.
And really, there's so much crowd control on Infected Gaming side. They have the Flame Chompers plus the Zap out of Jinx. Then they have the Zenith Blade, Shield of Daybreak, and the Solar Flare out of Leona. They have the Cocoon on Elise. They have the Wither on Nasus. And then they have the Grasping Roots plus the Stranglethorns on Zyra, plus the Slowing Plants. That is so much. And on the opposing side, all we have is the Slow on Chum the Waters, the Crescendo, and the Electro Harpoons out of Rumble. Compare these two and think about how they will do in a team fight. I guess there's also the slow on the Equalizer, of course. But generally, that is just far superior from CC from Infected Gaming. And I think that will be a reason, even if they get behind in the early to mid game, they will be able to come out strong in late game team fights simply because of superior CC if they combo it right. So no matter what happens in the early to mid game, I would never give up Infected Gaming's gameplay here simply because they can always come back from whatever happens to them.
Wait, you're saying that you would never give up? You're never going to give them up? Would you ever let them down, though, Grey Goose? I think that's
no,
the
I would not.
Major question. You would never let them down. Would you ever turn around?
I would never give them up or let them down. I'm not going to sing it now, even though I'm tempted. But
well, as you say, if they manage to get that crowd control train going down, especially with a Nasus who's going to be running into the backlines, got that Ghost, got his teleport as well to join in the team fights. If he can get heavy with those stacks on his Siphoning Strike, he is going to be a monster of a wolf, or a monster of a dog, sorry, to deal with as this game progresses. However, Rumble has got that little bit of AP, has got that damage that he'll be putting down in the top lane, might actually be able to out-damage Nasus, especially in the early game with that Ignite. EJ Panda bringing that one out for the Bananas in Tuxedos team. We are into the loading screen now, probably about 10-15 seconds before we get into the game. Do you think there's anything about sort of the level 1 action that's going to go down here, Grey Goose?
I would not be surprised at all to see Infected Gaming trying to invade this. They have so much early game CC available to them, and if they manage to land it, they could possibly pick up early kills, especially onto squishy targets such as Fizz and Sona. Mm-hmm. It's still going to be the question whether they really go for it, because I think for the overall setup, I'm not too sure if that's really what they want to go for, if they want to risk it, because anything can always turn back around on you. But generally, for the level 1, I think they're stronger.
Yeah, well, we are into the game at the moment, just sorting out these summoners, getting them in the right order. They didn't quite pull that one off for me, and I actually put Zyra into the supporting role there. That is how used to having support Zyra I am, but we do see them running down the mid lane. Shyvana and Ezreal leading the charge here into this bush. Sort of not one of the few bushes that wasn't changed on Summoner's Rift.
Indeed, they made so many changes, made a lot of them smaller, shorter, not as curved, so you could generally get vision in a bush with a single ward. As it turns out, so many of the bushes are actually bugged now that even if you get a ward in them, you still don't have vision of the entire bush. But you're right, that was one of the very few straight bushes, and they left that one completely unchanged. I like it. It's a very important bush, and one that can really affect the mid lane a lot and the entire game flow. So I like that they didn't change that.
Yeah, it would have altered the way that you play in mid lane, wouldn't it? Like, especially you would got vision, either got vision sooner or a lot later on those jungle ganks. And mid lane is so dependent on whether or not you get ganked early, whether or not you're able to keep yourself alive in that lane and get the CS, get to those sort of later levels. Because as we know, most mages tend to scale off levels as opposed to items getting that extra damage. I mean, of course, they do get a lot more damage from items, but they want levels more than they want items.
Precisely, and you can see with the recent relic changes to the relic shield, instantly the supports have adapted, and even on a tanky support like Leona, there is now the ancient coin much rather than, the relic shield for her. And one thing that's really interesting are actually the trinket choices here, because we have 3 warding trinkets, 1 Farsight orb, what was it called? Yeah, Scrying orb, sorry, and then 1 sweeping lens on the side of Infected Gaming. And generally now in solo queue even, you see a lot of teams starting with a 5 warding totem start. And I'm really interested to see how that will work out for them, if they can make that happen if they can get advantages by choosing these different trinkets.
One of the things about the sweeping lens is it's good to clear out wards and it really helps your jungler gank, but it's got an exceptionally long cooldown in the early game. 3 minutes, I think, is the cooldown on that. So yes, if you get a ward out with it, it's superb, but if you use it and the opponents haven't placed their wards yet, not going to help you out at all, because they've got a good 3 minutes to place that ward. And basically that's the length of the ward. Actually, Zenith Blade landing here. Level 2 already hit. Zap coming out onto Aixien. He's gone very low on that Ezreal, but a little bit of sustain from that Ario Perseverance coming out from Sona, going to keep him nice and healthy in that lane.
And of course, with the recent changes to the Doran's Blade, you are now also able to pick up a health potion along with that. So he's not going to be at low health just yet, or rather, not anymore. He's almost back to full. So we see quite a bit of trading in the top lane, actually. Rumble going very low as Lise comes up there, pokes in, leaves again, not able to make anything happen there.
Yeah, I think she was spotted as she came in. Yep, Electro Harpoon's getting chucked across towards this Tribush just to check if she's there, and the ward has gone down. Does look like there's going to be a gank in mid though. Shyvana coming in, spotted out by that ward. Some good trading in the middle lane already.
Yeah, Fizz burned his Ignite there too. He wanted to kind of go for the kill, but Zyra landed her Grasping Roots in exchange, and then Fizz was not able to do anything more. So he's burnt that. Zyra still has her barrier, and that is going to be a little bit of an edge for that mid lane. But already, what we mentioned, this bot lane with Leona and Jinx, so powerful. They're pushing heavily, but Shyvana's just not able to make a gank happen there just now. There's a ward as well. It would spot her out, but they do need a little bit of help already. Jinx pulling ahead in CS there.
Yeah, I would have expected the Ignite to do double damage against Zyra, because of course she is a grass type and Ignite is a fire type spell. We do see Zyra getting ganked here. She's got flash, she's got barrier as well. Will be able to escape from that one quite nice and easily. Red buff pocking a little bit, doing a little bit of damage to her, but nothing major.
Yeah, one thing that I expect to see, especially in the middle game, is a sneaky dragon out of Infected Gaming, or rather something I would love to see, because Elise can get over the Dragon Pit wall, and Zyra can help with those plants phenomenally well, possibly also from over the wall. Zyra may be in trouble here.
Yeah, Wolfishy jumping onto her, but that playful trickster, we talked about how strong it was, able to get away from it really nice and easy, didn't even tank up a single tower shot there.
Indeed. So Zyra gonna stay safe, still staying in that lane, very low health and basically no mana, wondering whether she will recall.
I think she really needs to, because she doesn't, as you said, she doesn't have any mana. She has got that warding trinket though, gonna keep her safe on one side at least, but with flash and barrier up, she can back away if she wants to, just trying to push that towards the tower, deny Fizz as much CS as possible.
But now Elise is sneaking down into that bot lane, and this could be the kill here. They've gotten Ezreal pretty low several times already. Those Zenith Blades landing beautifully, and something we didn't mention yet is actually the reason why Ezreal's still a decent pick in this is because when he Arcane Shifts while the Zenith Blade lands, he will still Arcane Shift away despite being snared at the end of the thing, and it denies the follow-up CC out of Leona. However, there is a ward in the bush now, at least just gonna back off.
Yeah, that was a beautifully timed ward there. As soon as the first trinket ward went down, Ezreal placed another one straight into the bush. That's why having that double warding totem on your bot lane is really strong, because it means that you don't have any time when you haven't got at least the ability to put a ward down. Spirit Fire coming in top lane, the Cycling Strike will take EJ Panda really low, down to about 200 HP. Ignite has come down onto him. He might actually be able to turn this one around, and he does! Flashes in right at the last moment, but First Blood going down there for EJ Panda. Turned that beautifully.
Indeed, and I'm not quite sure what Nasus was thinking there. He went really low. I guess he was a little bit greedy. He was winning at the lane, kind of free farming for himself and getting a little bit ahead, and then he just stands in the entire minion wave though. And Nasus, even though he's got good lifesteal, standing in the middle of a minion wave while ignited is not where you want to be. And Rumble played that really nicely, realized that he could just stay there, turn around, ignited, and picked up a kill for himself here. Already able to pick up that Haunting, guys, and that's going to be really nice for him in the lane. A little bit of extra magic penetration.
Yeah, and that's really, really strong. Also, the teleport being used by Nasus to get back into that lane means that the rest of the opposing team does not need to worry about those teleport ganks coming out from a ghosting teleporting Nasus. One of the strongest things in the game, along with a home guard teleport Malphite, I think. You just don't want to get anywhere near them. We did see Wolfish EU on that Fizz missing his Chum the Waters in mid lane. And by doing that meant that his lane opponent could be a bit safer. She was only level 5 at the time, but because she knows that ultimate's down, she was able to stay around for a little bit longer and has now hit level 6 with an extra 8 CS as well.
Yeah, Zyra now having a little bit of an upper hand there. Fizz coming back into the lane, gonna pick up his blue buff before he goes over there. But Zyra now also probably gonna get hers. I'm not quite sure. Elise is currently waiting for it to respawn, so Zyra will get that soon. And then this mid lane will keep going. But I mean, it's only 10 CS difference in the mid lane, and Fizz is a melee mid laner that really has to pay attention while trying to CS to not get harassed too much. And the fact that he hasn't died yet, the fact that he hasn't been ganked, of course it's very hard to gank Fizz due to his playful trickster. But, you know, he's stayed pretty safe, he's not too far behind. And now with the blue buff and getting his first couple of items, he will be able to jump onto Zyra, do a lot of damage, and I think it's only going to get easier for him in that lane over the next couple of minutes.
It's going to be really interesting because he is that, as you said, only a little bit of CS behind. Overall, actually, Bananas and Tuxedos quite far behind in CS. Ooh, that's so close in bot lane as we were down to about 100 HP. He's going to be able to get away from this one. They're trying to engage. No level 6 coming out from Leona, so she hasn't got that solar flare. The super mega death rocket took him so close to death, but not quite enough. And he's going to have to back away, giving this Jinx Leona lane free farm in this bottom lane.
Yeah, and Jinx Leona, I mean, they're already a number of CS ahead, and even though they didn't get the kill there, it's not too bad because they get more free pushing time. They've already cleared out the wave. They're gonna get onto that tower now, do a little bit of damage. The True Shot Barrage is gonna clear out the minion wave, or at least some of it. And now they'll just go back and say, okay, cool, we've got a 17 CS advantage. That's a lot of extra gold that Jinx has over Ezreal. Gonna go back and buy, and then return to that lane with even more of a power spike. And that really, after the first buy is when it gets dangerous. Jinx just picked up a BF sword, a long sword, and Leona has a sight stone in addition to more health potions. They've just got so much more powerful in that bot lane, so much tankier, and so much more damage for them there. And that's really going to be scary.
Looks like there might be a dragon attempted here. Ezreal and Sona coming across towards it. They know that Jinx and Leona have backed away. They're going to start it. There is a ward in the back of this one though. The sweeping lens has already been used. Here comes Elise. She'll be able to jump on this one from across the wall if she wants to go for it. There's the repel. Is it going to come out? Yes! No, it's been smited down. Not quite quick enough, and she's gone in. She might have to flash away from this one. In fact, she will. Zap coming out from the side. Flashes away. Leona's going in on this one as well. Zyra is yet to react. Nice dragon to send her onto Jinx. Cocoon across the wall, but Ezreal is diving onto this Jinx. There's the solar flare. Beautifully done from a mile away. Volatile Spiderling coming out. The flash missed there by Ezreal, and they're going to be able to get away from it. Yes, they do lose the dragon, but they don't lose any of their lives. Oh, Mystic Shot. Ezreal could go in for this one. Arcane Shift. He gets it. He gets the kill. Jinx staying around in not the best position there and gets taken out.
That was, I mean, a sad ending, but considering how bad the fight was in the beginning, I'm not too surprised that happened towards the end. And really, that was just a lot of miscommunication on the side of Infected Gaming. I'm not quite sure why they did that, because, I mean, they had to either go or not go. And in the end, Elise flashing over the wall before this, they had a perfect engage. Leona could have put down a solar flare on all 3 members of Bananas and Tuxedos around that dragon. Then Ezreal could have, Jinx could have come in there, and Elise would not have had to flash and still had that up. They had a nice team fight there. Instead, Elise flashed, and then Leona and Jinx engaged. Jinx had 2 people sitting on her face almost right away, had to try and get away, and as I mentioned earlier, she does not have many escape possibilities if people are on top of her. And she then, I mean, she had to run away, tried to get under the tower, had nothing left, was picked up in the end. And that was just a little bit of miscommunication there. It could have been better. Sadly, very nicely played out of Bananas and Tuxedos though.
This Rumble is not in a good position. He's tanked up a tower shot. It's flashed across the wall actually beautifully away from the repel and might be able to get away from this one. Elise had come up. He used the equalizer, but here comes Elise, misses the cocoon, and Rumble is going to be able to get away from this one. Nice and easy. That flash was absolutely gorgeous, meaning that he was outside of the repel range from Elise.
Indeed. I mean, that flash was really nice. He's been pushing back Nasus a little bit. The equalizer was nice, but not good enough to pick up the kill. And then he was all of a sudden dangerous. Mid lane
fighting. Is coming out in mid lane. There's the Stranglethorns as well. Is Zyra going to be able to get this one down? No. 80 HP there, flare on the Fizz, and he's going to be able to run right back down and get back into his mid lane.
So, I mean, there have been trades in mid and top, but bottom lane is still calm. There has not been a kill there. I mean, Ezreal picked up the one around Dragon, of course, but generally in the lane, after a lot of early aggression out of Leona and Jinx, they're really, it's gone back to sort of a little bit of farming is Zyra's in trouble.
Yeah, Dragon's Descent coming onto her, but Elise is still around, lands that cocoon, and look at the health there on Fizz. You do not want to be fighting when you're on that low. Looks like Shyvana's just going to clear out this mid lane for Fizz as he backs away.
Yeah, and I mean, he was in a lot of danger. He had to be careful not to go in there, of course. So he wasn't just picked up. Any kind of stray spell could have just finished him off. But now, we do see a CS lead, a clear CS lead in favor of Infected Gaming. But overall, it doesn't matter because the kills and the dragon are in favor of Bananas and Tuxedos. So the gold lead overall is actually 1,000 in favor of Bananas and Tuxedos.
Yeah, really, really nice for them being ahead in that gold and those 2 kills ahead as well. They are getting that sort of snowball on, but we talked about the team fight phase where they don't have as much CC, they don't have as much ability to lock down the team fights, and it'll be interesting to see how this game does develop after we get out of the laning phase.
Yeah, and as I mentioned there, with the dragon, a lot of things could have gone very differently if there had been a clear call out of Infected Gaming and everyone had followed it up and they hadn't done this kind of back and forth thing. If they managed to actually make a clear call and engage on their terms, I think you are right, and they're still going to be a very considerable force, and nothing is decided here just yet as we slowly move towards the mid game. The Spirit Visage already done on Nasus, and that's very nice for him as we see the flash engage.
Yeah, Crescendo coming in bot lane, Shyvana is here as well. There's the barrier, True Shot Barrage is going to miss, Ignite is ticking now on Jinx, is it going to be enough? Leona turns around with that Eclipse, going to back everyone away. Zap comes out but misses on them all. Nice escape actually there from Jinx and Leona. Leona just being that frontline tank. Really nicely done by her just to make sure that Jinx stayed safe behind the tower.
And Leona's Solar Flare there was beautiful. She flashed herself to get herself out of trouble, and then the Solar Flare just stopped the advance of Shyvana and the others, and just basically let Jinx escape because Jinx was in trouble, and then all of a sudden that Solar Flare just completely saved her as we see Top Gun very, very low here.
Oh, but this means the Nasus has to run all the way along that equalizer. Whoa! Spirit Fire almost getting him through that scrap shield. Not quite enough. The Chum the Waters is coming out mid lane. Oh, wow! Wolfisher, you gets melted by Soul's Master. Beautifully done. Oh! Super Mega Death Rocket hitting on Rumble. That crossed the map. Snipe. Absolutely gorgeous. Picking up another kill for that team.
And I guess Jinx, sorry, not Jinx, Fizz kind of overestimating himself. He is an assassin as we see Shyvana mid.
Yeah, Shyvana picking up the kill there on Zyra. She got caught out of position. Nicely done by Shyvana's come around the side, from the back, Dragon Descenting them back towards her team. And Ezreal and Sona really didn't need to contribute a huge amount after getting Zyra low.
The thing was Fizz is an assassin. He's very powerful, especially once he gets a couple of items. But he still only had the Sheen and a couple of, he had Sheen, Boots, and 2 Doran's Rings. That's what he has now. And that's not enough to 100 to 0 an enemy mid laner that is that CC heavy with a Grasping Roots and that has a Chalice. So Zyra has extra magic resist, and it was really important there. She was able to survive the initial burst, and then she picked up Fizz for free. And I'm not quite sure whether he was overestimating his own damage or just not paying attention or went on tilt, but that's not something that's allowed to happen more often, because Zyra's going to get pretty scary. Of course, Jinx with her snipe across the map was beautiful. She's picked up that Bloodthirster already, so that's going to make her pretty powerful, especially because she has very nice AD scalings as the second dragon may be picked up here.
Yeah, really nice timing on this dragon. They started it basically as soon as it was up, and that's another dragon going across towards Bananas and Tuxedos. Puts them about 1,200 gold in the lead. They are managing to get a little bit further ahead. Oh, this is not in a good position. Zenith Blade landing onto him, and he's going to get taken down. Tries to flash away right at the last moment, but Soul's Master picks up the kill there. Just not beautiful positioning there from Fizz.
Well, I mean, he was also kind of left alone by his team. They picked up Dragon, which was a very, very nice move, and then all of a sudden, they sent 3 people towards bot lane, even though there's a 4-man stack out of Infected Gaming in mid. They can't do that, as here's the engagement. Yeah,
they're gonna... Oh, beautiful equalizer, and Shyvana's gonna go down. The Strangletooth has come out. Crescendo actually missing on everyone. Shyvana's in backline, double kill for her. Elise is really low. Zyra's really low as well. Ezreal picking up one there. Are they gonna try and keep engaging on this one? No, they're gonna back away. Fizz is running up towards top lane to stop this Nasus, but should be a tower out of this one, at least, for the Bananas in Tuxedos team.
That was just gorgeous. The rumble roam towards mid lane was crucial for that. And his equalizer was on point. It did so much for them. It slowed the enemy team down and really just kept them there during the durations of Stranglethorns. So Stranglethorns was all of a sudden not enough to prevent them from engaging. You know, Zyra very strong at disengaging with that Stranglethorns. It was not enough there. The Equalizer kept them in place, picked up the kill too, and then they just kept chasing. Shyvana had a flash. Shyvana's so strong with that burnout. She's so fast. She can get onto you and just, I mean, she demolishes you. And in the end, that was Infected Gaming overstaying their welcome a little bit, wanted to get onto that inner tower despite the rest of Bananas and Tuxedos reacting then. Fizz got caught out, the rest of the team then reacted a little bit late, and it did end up costing Infected Gaming in turn.
That it did. And we see sort of a mid lane push coming out from both of the teams in quick succession there, both of them getting that first tower down. And at the moment, it looks like the team fight coming out of the Bananas and Tuxedos team is standing up to the test. We talked a lot about how they didn't have enough CC, but if they get that Equalizer down, while the enemy's sort of trying to disengage a little bit, that's a huge amount of damage that the entire opposing team is going to have to run along. They're going to have to take straight to their face. With that Haunting Guise coming out from Rumble, if he builds that into a Leandri's, or if he gets that Rylai's next as well, he's going to be outputting huge deeps onto his opposing team.
He will be pretty scary indeed, and the added slow on the Rylai's will be really powerful as well. But there are a couple more things here that we really have to notice, and that's, for example, the Nasus free farming top lane for so long now. He's been stacking up. He currently has about 363 extra damage on his Q, and nobody can deal with him. Fizz wanted to go up there, save that tower. He had to Playful Trickster away simply because Nasus is getting really scary. He's got that Spirit Visage, he's got a Sheen, and the Merc Treads. He's currently scary, and I'm not sure if there's anyone on Bananas and Tuxedos that can deal with him right now, and he's only going to get scarier as the game goes on. Even though Shyvana picked up a Sunfire Cape trying to be the tank for her team, I'm not sure if there's anything they have to answer to this huge threat of Nasus, as they may set up a jungle trap here. This could be huge.
Death bush, death bush, death bush, death bush! Straight in Fizz's face, he gets melted. Beautifully done there by the Infected Gaming team, setting up that Death Bush. Flash away from the Flame Chompers and the Solar Flare there. Nice Equalizer, gonna lock them out. Flash from Crescendo, there comes the Dragon's Descent as well. Is this gonna be enough? True Shot Barrage has been used, but Nasus, as you said, in that backline is tanking everything up. Super Mega Death Rocket, but there's the kill for Shyvana. Ezreal's gonna go down to that Jinx, and because Fizz is not here, they're able to output a huge amount of damage without getting it really returned onto them. Shyvana, Rumble, and Sona are still alive. However, they are facing against this four-man team from Infected Gaming. Rumble almost goes down. Not quite enough damage, but here comes Fizz. He's got those Home Guards. He's going to be running in at the... swimming in at the speed of a shark right here. Is he going to be able to catch up with anyone? I'm not sure he will. Oh, they've actually stayed around a little bit longer there. Burnout coming out from Shyvana. Fizz is coming in from the side. Here comes Chum the Waters. It connects onto Leona. Is it going to be enough? No, he's backed away from the Volatile Spiderling. He's going to go in. Jumps onto the Leona. That's not the target you want. Oh, here comes the teleport from Nasus. He's going to be coming in as well. He might be able to catch on to anyone here. The Wither going out onto Sona. She might go down. Beautiful cocoon across the wall onto Shyvana. And she's going to try and re-engage onto this Elise. Sona's going to go down to Nasus. No! Slows him down with that power coin. He's going to be able to get away. Wolfishy Yu is still there, as is Sona. And here comes the True Shot Barrage. Takes out the Zyla. Beautifully done. These fights are so back and forth. They might try and re-engage. Rumble going really low. Cycling Strike to the face, Rumble. Chew on that one.
Wow. These fights, it's so back and forth, and Ezreal's still not done, trying to delay the recall out of Nasus, and oh my god. I mean, first there was a beautiful engage from Bananas and Tuxedos with a crescendo onto everyone, and Infected Gaming all of a sudden looked a little bit caught as Nasus trying to mess with Ezreal here.
Yeah, Ezreal, that's not where you want to be. Cycling Strike taking a third of his health. Ignite coming out onto the Nasus, but Ignite does not do that much damage to someone when they've got a Spirit Visage. Well, it does the same amount of damage, but because he's got so much health, it does less. That makes sense.
Of course it does less. Looks like that less. But I mean, this is a 3-1 for Ezreal with 146 CS, with a Trinity Force and a Vamp Scepter, plus 2 Doran's Blades. He's not weak, but he doesn't even scratch Nasus, and Nasus just turns around, puts 2 Siphoning Strikes in Ezreal's face, and Ezreal's at like 3. As I mentioned, there's nothing they can do against this Nasus with a perfect engage earlier they had. Everyone went low, but the only death was Nasus because he stood in the front line and just soaked up all the damage there was. And this is going to be now the third possibly uncontested dragon in favor of Bananas and Tuxedos. But even if they pick up dragons, even if they're ahead in gold, oh, nice steal attempt, but they're still ahead in gold. But the overall map pressure, the tempo of the game is swinging more and more against them, and if they don't do something about it soon, they're just going to be pushed farther and farther back and are actually going to lose out the game while possibly being ahead in gold. It does happen.
Yeah, that Nasus is a beefy dog at the moment. Would be great in North Korea with the amount of beef that he has on him. But it's interesting to see sort of how these two late game teams compare, because we talked about how strong Nasus is late game. Fizz as well, if you can get to that Lich Bane, if you can get a Rabadons as well, you can melt down any real AD, AP carry from the opposing team. So Wolfisher, you can get a bit more farm under his belt, might be able to help carry his team out of what seems to be a little hole they've got themselves in here.
And I really like the pickup here from Sona. The Mikhail's Crucible will go to huge lengths trying to protect her Fizz and Ezreal, and they need to protect those two because they're what can save this game. There's a Jinx with a Static Shift and a Bloodthirster, a Zyra with a Death Cap, and Nasus that's rapidly building towards a Trinity Force. They have the peel as Leona goes very deep here.
Yeah, but Shyvana is here to back up her support. Is it going to be enough? Nasus is around. Jinx using the zap across the wall, going to slow them all down. Fizz is here as well. Fizz actually engaging on Jinx with that Chum the Waters. Equalizer coming across. Solar Flare. There's the Stranglethorns as well. Zyra might go down. Here comes Rumble. And Zyra has to flash across the wall. She is going to be chased out here. Playful Tricks are coming in. Aggroing Baron. Meanwhile, nice barrier out from Zyra, and they managed to get the kill. Elise is coming from the side. Is it going to be enough? No, she might get melted down. There's an engage on Rumble. Oh, she repels across towards the wall. Nasus is going in on this Rumble, but Ezreal is still alive. Is he going to be able to take enough damage onto this Nasus? Yes, he will. One more Mystic Shot. Actually, Rumble picking up the kill there. And it looks like, oh, Leona just out of range there from the Ezreal. Not going to be able to secure that one for his team, but nice turnaround there. Fizz got melted as he went for that playful trickster across the wall. Jinx went down, a beautiful equalizer as well.
So, very nice team fight out of Bananas and Tuxedos there. They did what they had to do. Jinx got completely caught out in the jungle. Very nice move from Fizz to realize that she was not paying attention to him and simply running towards her teammates. And even though there was a ward spotting at Fizz, Jinx did not care and still just kept going, tunnel visioning on saving her teammates. Leona had engaged very deeply there, probably not expecting Shyvana to be just around the corner, and then had to run away as fast as possible. After that, it was just a matter of chasing. Fizz going over the wall into the Baron Pit was a little bit unlucky because there were other members from Infected Gaming there to save their friends. And then there was all the CC from Leona and Zyra keeping him near the Baron Pit, enabling the rest of Infected Gaming to clean him up. But afterwards, overall, that was still a fight in Bananas and Tuxedo's favor. Simply because they managed to catch out people, managed to chase down very nicely, despite all the CC coming out from Infected Gaming. And if they manage to do that a couple more times and then capitalize off of it, take objectives, take advantages across the map, then they can still be, you know, they're not out of this game at all.
Yeah, here comes Dragon's Descent across the wall. Shyvana trying to engage here onto the Jinx and Leona. Ezreal is trying to chase into it. Zyra coming in from the side, and Elise is there as well. Shyvana's taking a little bit of damage, but she's still able to stay around. Sona has come in, as has Fish from the side. Fizz, not Fish. And it looks like Zyra actually might get called out here by the Fizz. Teleport coming in onto that plant. And here comes Nasus. Fizz is dueling with Zyra off to the side. Chum the Waters. Is it going to be enough? Nasus has come in. Shyvana getting taken very low. That dog has rabies. Watch out, Shyvana. And Zyra actually goes down. Rumble picking up the kill. The equalizers come in as well. Beautifully placed. And Rumble is on the wrong side of his team right now. Shyvana's having to back away. Elise, Jinx, Nasus, and that Sona chase, and that Leona chasing in. Jinx going really low here. Nasus pops that wither down. And there's another kill for Rumble. Double kill for Rumble. He could turn this one all the way around. No, the cocoon comes out. Nice splash in there by Elise. And Nasus is chasing down these other two players. But there's the Mystic Shot. Ezreal might pick up this kill. Sona almost going to get... Yes, Ezreal gets it. Nice Mystic Shot there onto the Elise as well. Dodges the cocoon beautifully. Elise goes in with the Venomous Bite. But that's a double kill for Ezreal. Whoa, what a fight. What a fight.
What a fight indeed. And there were so many, you know, crucial moments in that. For example, Sona saving her Shyvana with a beautiful crescendo. That was just perfect. It hit 3 people, completely prevented the follow-up chase, and was just, you know, spot on. That's what you want to do as a Sona with your crescendo, saving your teammate. And because the rest of Infected Gaming was chasing Shyvana so hard, they were able to pick up Zyra in the background. Fizz in the background, sorry. And Infected Gaming was not protecting their carries very well, and due to that, Bananas and Tuxedos were then able to turn around. There'd been so much focus on Shyvana that Rumble was able to basically sit in the back line and then just do a lot of damage, and that enabled then in turn Bananas and Tuxedos to just turn around, pick up more kills on the chase, and they're now 15-9. They're getting out the big items. There's now also the Talisman of Ascension on Sona. There's a Bloodthirster done on Ezreal, combined with the Mercury Treads, and I really like the Mercury Treads. Extra tenacity, reducing the durations of stuns, slows, fears, silences out of Infected Gaming. And they have a lot of CC, and thus Ezreal is building in a way that will enable him to get out of CC. The Mikkel's Crucible doing the same job. So I really like the reaction here out of Bananas and Tuxedos. They're itemizing well. They also have the Leandries and the Riley's Crystal Scepter done on Rumble. By the way, Rumble ult, once again, beautiful. Very, very nice. And was really what was also a huge factor in turning that game around, is we may see another dragon. As soon as it spawns, Bananas and Tuxedos are there to pick it up.
However, there are some Baron pings coming out here from Infected Gaming. If they manage to take this in response, that is going to be huge. They are actually backing away from it. Dragon's going to go down, and as Shyvana and Fizz are not slow movers, they can jump across that map as Fizz and run really quickly with the burnout of Shyvana, and they're going to try and engage. The equalizer has come out. Zyra getting taken very low. Ezreal in the backline. There's the kill for Rumble. Nice crescendo across a few people there. Playful Trickster in. There's the solo fair. It doesn't really catch up anyone too much. This is going to be such a close team fight. There's Shyvana getting the kill on Jinx. Nasus is low. Elise is low. Here comes the Playful Trickster in. The Fizz actually picks up that one, and Nasus has to back away. Here comes the wave of minions. They're going to be able to get this tower.
And that was Zyra got caught in the equalizer, turned around and wanted to do damage to Ezreal. She did not even think about escaping. She had her flash up and everything, but she just stood there inside the equalizer, put out a little bit of damage to Ezreal. He didn't even care. He has a Bloodthirster. He lifestole all of that back. As now we see the True Shot Barrage clearing out the bot wave, and that was a huge amount of damage onto the middle tower. Very nice engage from Bananas and Tuxedos. Great call with the equalizer, then the Talisman of Ascension to get the rest of the team going. Mikkel's Crucible freed Ezreal from the grasping roots out of Zyra, so he was able to dodge a lot of the damage. And then, oh my god, the Sona ult once again. Clutch, hitting a lot of people on Infected Gaming. You know, we mentioned Bananas and Tuxedos has very little CC, but they're making the best possible use out of what they have, and they're making it count for them, and that was another huge fight in their favor.
Yeah, really, really nicely done. The only comment you could make is that that Rumble ultimate, the equalizer, was a little bit off to the side. Would have been nicer if it had covered the entire bit of the lane, but still a beautiful play by them, managing to catch out a couple of people, and by doing that, by separating them from their team, really helping to isolate them and get those kills down. Ezreal, as we said, Triforce Bloodthirster is doing a huge amount of damage, and those Merc Treads not only helping him against those against the CC with that tenacity, but also giving him that magic resist against Zyra, against Nasus with the Siphoning Strikes. That is huge. And now we see the Baron Dance starting. The Baron Dance is massive, and will be probably the defining moment of this fight. Oh, here comes the Talisman of Ascension. They're going to go in on Jinx. True Shot Barrage. Dragon's Descent. There's the equalizer. Now picks up the kill. Superbly done. And they're going to be able to chase this one round. Elise has gone very low. Minions are not there for them at the moment. But that Talisman into ultimate combination is incredible.
Really, it's just, at this point, a matter of coordination and communication. This Fizz, very dangerous there. Is going to be safe though, thanks to the rest of his team being right behind him. And it's a matter of communication. Infected Gaming, earlier in the previous fight, Zyra got caught out because she wanted to go in and the rest of her team backed out. On Bananas and Tuxedos, there is no hesitation whatsoever. They make a call, and then they say, we're going in. And all of a sudden, all members pile in there. Now they've got the inhibitor, they're running in for the Baron, there is no vision out of Infected Gaming. And I mean, they have an inkling this is going on and they're racing over there, but Jinx is still in the base. Zyra is not there, and this may be a free, uncontested Baron. Oh, the Solar Flare though.
Yeah, it's coming a nice crescendo off to the side, and they get the kill. repel in there by Elise, and she's going to go down. Actually, Wolfish EU on that Fizz getting taken out very quickly. Nasus is still alive. He is chasing down this carry, but he's going to get taken out pretty quickly here. Beautiful damage combination there. Zyba being chased off to the side. She's going to get taken out by that Ezreal, and that is another 4-for-1 trade. Here comes the True Shot Barrage, actually clearing out the top set of minions. Flame Chompers coming out, and the Zap might be able to slow these people down enough to stop them being able to chase onto this Jinx. But Sci-Fi Man, not in a nice position. Nice equalizer, just cutting him off from that way of escape. Surrender Vote coming out. Beautiful, beautiful game there. I was impressed.
And once again, the Sona ultimate, just so clutch, spot on, prevented anyone from even trying, from even thinking about stealing that Baron. And then, you know, sometimes you have to cut your losses. The Baron was lost. Infected Gaming still tried to fight it. I mean, they picked up Fizz, which is nice, but they lost Baron, and then they lost four of their members trying to fight afterwards against a Baroned up team. And that's not something you want to do. And in the end, it all came down to the zero hesitation calls out of Bananas and Tuxedos. I'm so impressed by them, and every single member did their job perfectly. The equalizers, the crescendos, the ultimates were great. Some of the Chum the Waters were a little bit off, but overall, they made the best out of the opportunities they had, and really came out strong for themselves. Very, very nicely done.
You see a hero and you kill a hero. That is the motto of the Bananas and Tuxedos team. We are going to pass across to Han Solo Q. He'll be bringing us a little bit of analysis and background information for that last game, and we'll be back with the second of this best of 3 game in just a couple of minutes. I've been Sona, and my co-caster is Grey Goose. Over to you, Han Solo Q.
Hi guys, that game was ridiculous. Too much happened. Way too much happened. I can't even pinpoint like where Bananas, I was about to say Bananas in Pajamas, where Bananas in Tuxedos won that game. It was ridiculous. So many good team fights. That however though, that Jinx ultimate from across the map that hit Rumble, that was absolutely amazing. I can't believe he landed that. That was such a perfect shot. Bananas in Tuxedos, they itemized perfectly for this game. If you look at the items, Shyvana went 100% tank. She did not need any damage. Rumble got so far ahead of the Nasus, he was able to do enough. Ezreal, again, only dying once. He had enough damage. They itemized perfectly for this team. What was... Infected Gaming, they did have so much CC, but yeah, with that damage, with that tankiness, you're able to counter that. Bananas in Tuxedos went in perfectly with their ultimates. They really just ignored everything. Shyvana did a great job of jumping in, taking out the back line. Yes, Nasus was able to get through and get on the Ezreal, but like I said, the itemization, building that Mikhail's Crucible, saved Ezreal, and that's what really won the game. That's Sona, MVP of that game. Perfect plays.
Yeah, some absolutely incredible plays there by the Sona, by the entire team really. I mean, the Sona almost went perfect support, 0-0-19, but actually got that last kill right near the end on Nasus, just helping out her AD carry as much as possible. We'll be back with the second of this best of 3 games in the... what's it called? The third place playoff. That's what it's called. I'm Sona. Analyst is Han Solo Q, and my co-caster is Grey Goose. Be back in just a second, guys.